Oh my goodness, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to start. I mean, it's just been a long couple it's been like life lately. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just been like bang,
I
bang, bang.
heard I had to get a dentist this week, which yeah, dentist is gross. But the hygienist that was, doing the cleaning and all that, she was talking about how there was a supermoon and she's like, I don't care what anybody says, it's making everyone a mess. Whether they're acting up, they feel like they need to act up, they're just more emotional. And I was like, girl, you're not kidding. Like shit, that explains so much.
Can I say, like, it's interesting you bring that up because I feel like the energy lately has been weird, and
Yeah.
I'm going to throw you guys all for a loop because the thing that threw me like, oh my god, what is with this energy right now is something that you'll never expect. But like, so I had a death in the family this week, and it was tough, and that's always tough to deal with. Then that kid from One Direction died. I
Yeah.
don't know why this is like sticking in my mind as like a what the fuck is going on right now, but like there's just something feels really weird. It just like the energy in the world right now just feels like we're heading somewhere, and I don't know what to say or expect, but you know what? We're here to talk about Nightcrawler. So let's all get
Exactly.
happy. Let's all come on, everybody, get happy. We're going to talk about Nightcrawler. Well, we're going to talk about, first of all, first and foremost, I am Lisa at the OG Nocturne. Of course, we've got the lovely, beautiful Lauren over there. You're looking fantastic, and like you're looking like you're feeling and doing a lot better
Oh,
too.
really? I was worried I looked like shit. I'm like, because I'm still in my PJs. I mean, I've been up for a little bit, but
I
I was
mean,
like, man, Lisa's gonna be like, you look like shit. But no, I feel better. Guys, I started doing fucking yoga of all things. And you know
I
what? I
love
hate to
that.
break it to everyone else because I've had to break it to me, but people are onto something with that shit. They're onto
Well,
it.
let me tell you, you're not wrong. Like yoga is kind of great, and I should get back into doing something. I'm trying to like get a routine going, but
Yeah.
again, we're
Oh.
here to talk about you. But I would never say you look like shit. I just think it.
Listen, okay, ignoring that, I think I would like Kurt to teach a yoga class to me every single week, and that's just where I am. Thank you.
Here's what I think. I think Andrew Garfield should answer my tweet. I mean, he sounds.
Oh, listen, okay, guys, I'm sorry, we're going everywhere, but Andrew Garfield connects Nightcrawler. We've already done this, so don't ask.
Yeah, no, it does connect. And honestly, like I said, I love crystals. I hate Mondays. I love lasagna, and I hate that fucker normal. So Andrew Garfield, call me.
I love
Um,
him so much. He was
oh,
on Sesame Street talking with Elmo about grief and like losing his mom, and he's just such a sweet man. And listen, if you're someone that is masculine, identifies as man, what have you, I mean, everybody should have this regardless, but especially at those people, emotional intelligence is the sexiest thing you can have. I shit you not. It absolutely is.
yeah.
And Kurt
So
has it. So we're back.
there it is. We're back to Kurt. So we're simply amazing, and the one thing we are simply amazing at is our ADHD. But today we're going to talk about right. Today we're going to talk about Kurt. We're going to talk about Uncanny X-Men's 3 and 4 by the lovely, talented, amazing friend of the pod, Gail Simone. We love you, Gail. And yeah, I mean, let's just dive right in. I mean, we start with Xavier at the prison, and you know, um, we don't know this yet, but like, yeah, this like here's the thing, Xavier, stop. If you stop fucking with women, they'll stop fucking with you, basically. So this is what I want Xavier to learn. Stop fucking with women because they will stop fucking you back. Okay, that's all.
Just stop fucking with everybody. Here's the
That's true.
thing.
Yes.
Everybody's like, Charles fucks with this group or this person. No, Charles does not discriminate with who he fucks with. That's part of his problem. He needs to not. It needs to stop.
Do you know what I think is really interesting? And I was saying this right before. Like, there's something about the story that's happening here that feels very prescient and feels very like in the now, but it doesn't feel like it's 100% intentional. And I'm going to point out one thing. It's like I feel like we are dealing with right now a spate of men in this world who think that they know the answer and they have the answer, and if you just trust them, they'll take care of everything. And I'm talking about people like fucking Donald Trump, like Elon Musk, like these people who are like, I have the answers, I'm going to fix this. And I feel like Charles is kind of that way in a little bit, where it's like there's there's a power that comes from humility that I think a lot of the truly powerful people don't understand, because there's a power that comes from admitting you don't know, and there's a power that comes from admitting that, like, you are not the expert, which is not necessarily a strength that Charles Xavier has ever had, period.
No.
And the issue is like there's two types of danger when it comes to these men who, think they know everything, or I mean people in general, but we're talking about a guy, so it's men. And there's the kind that they really live on the ego, which is like, the Musks and the Trumps. But then there's the other side of it who they live on the ego of not just being in charge, but also like feeling like they truly are the savior. And that's where I think Xavier lies, is like he thinks he's a savior. And it's just like, all right, like come down off your cross. We need the wood, buddy. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's the thing too, is, to be fair, Gail Simone is a very intentional writer, but
Yes.
she's also a very talented writer, and she knows how to write things with intention without kind of, banging on your head with what she's trying to say. And so I think because that's the thing too, is I think about this, where we're at with these issues in this new line, and I'm like, why is this the story we're telling, or what's going on here? Because a lot of this feels brand new, but at the same time, like you said, not only with real life does it feel kind of familiar, but even in terms of like, just the X-Men and the characters we have in general, it feels familiar. Like,
Yeah.
and especially these two issues, there are things that feel incredibly familiar, that we'll get to. And I think it's completely intentional. I think Gail's just very smart about putting it all together rather than just taking one or two big things and banging on our heads with them. We're like, okay, we get it. You're in our face. She's being a little more tactful with it so that she can, get her points across, A, and B, get multiple points across at similar magnitudes. And that's really hard to do.
Yeah. So we start the issue here with Charles is at the prison, and Sarah, aka this crazy witch lady, she's there, and he's like, this is impossible. And she's just like, I mean, bitch, like, you've been at this shit since 1963. How, there's nothing's impossible, bitch. What are you talking about? But we leave them, and then we move over to Louisiana, and, they're all settling in nice, and, everybody's at the kitchen table having their little, talking about the new kids in town who are weirdos.
And we love them.
Yeah, of course. They're all mutants. They're all weirdos. All the X-Men are weirdos. Let's be real. That's why we like them, because we're weirdos. So, and Logan is basically like, yeah, I'm out of here. So, like, I know you got these kids now and I got responsibilities, but you know what I do when responsibility comes? I fucking leave. So,
sorry, Logan fans, but that's how he is. We have to accept the not so positive aspects of characters we love, and that's one of his.
But like, and it's so funny because this is such a like, this is exactly what happens in the first X-Men movie too. It's like Logan's like, yeah, he like shows up with Rogue at the mansion, and then he's like, no, I'm gone.
Yeah. Remember? I wonder, you know what? I bet if somebody asked Gail about that, she'd be like, yep, there was definitely inspiration there. Like, that had to be intentional.
Oh, of course. And I do like, though, how Marcus is just like, okay, I know all you guys have like crazy powers and you kill me with a blink, but listen, chores got to be done. So y'all better start fucking digging a hole or doing whatever. And I don't know, whatever kind of chores you have to do in Louisiana. I don't know, like clean the bayou. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
It's like, I don't know, brushing.
I'm Southern, but not that level of Southern. That's a whole other level.
No, that's true. Very true. So, but then we go back to our lovely prison where we have Gross. Is he supposed to be Caliban? I don't know who this guy is.
I don't know. I was hoping you could answer that for me, because I'm here feeling dumb as hell. Like, fuck, I'm supposed to know who to call this person, but nope.
I don't know if we've been told yet who it is, but it's like he gives me Caliban energy, and he looks, and it reminds me of like how Caliban's been used in other, in a lot of other ways. Typically when the bad guys get a hold of Caliban, it's not good for mutants. So
right.
But they go, again, what are these chores they're doing? Are they building a danger room? I guess they're building a danger room. I think that is it. Yes. Okay. I got to be honest. Like, if I was Marcus, I would be like, okay, like, I didn't say you could build stuff in my yard, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do though? Like, once mutants are doing their thing, I wouldn't stop them. No stopping them.
But guess who shows up for our Danger Room session? Our boy Kurt. He's
Oh, we
here.
love him so much.
He's here. Literally, Rogue basically is like, I know you had to look at our pasty asses for so long, but here, look at this guy. He's hot. So he's also my brother, though. So don't get any ideas. That's what she says. So
yeah, I love it for me. Yeah, I love how Gail uses this. Because I feel like that can be tough for a writer. Is you create all these new characters and then you have to figure out, okay, how can I create these new characters, and then how can I introduce them enough so people know their basic story, right? It's easy when you have one or two. You find places in the story and all that to kind of tell their story, their backstory and all that, right? But with like, at least we have 4, right? 4 new ones, 5 maybe. That's a lot. And you're like, fuck, I can't take 5 issues to introduce each of these when I need the story to go here, which is, in my opinion, how Gail's writing the story is the story's got to keep going. She can't pause 5 issues to do backstories right now. And so I love that she was like, you know what, while they're training, it makes total sense that one, Kurt can help with the action training, of course, and everything, but it also makes sense to me that she chose Kurt to help because this is where people are kind of bearing their backstories. They're kind of bearing their souls. And who else do you bear your soul to than Kurt? Like, and in such an instant, and it just feels right to do, even if you don't know him yourself yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, there's many different ways you can do it. I feel like, the promises we once had, where writers once had, years ago, where a writer would be put on a book and they know they'd have like, a year to be on that book or 2 years to be on that book. So they could really like, pace things out. Cause I don't know, like we were talking while we were just mentioning that, I was thinking about Exiles, which when they introduced that book, I mean, every character in that book except Blink was a brand new character that they had to, even the characters that were like, like Morph or Thunderbird, even those characters who were based on other characters, we're still brand new to this. So, but they actually, but all of that story all came out over the course of like 25 or 30 issues, but like today there's not that kind of guarantee anymore. Even then it wasn't necessarily a guarantee you'd be on the book that long, but especially a flagship book like Uncanny, it's like a little book like that. That's like an experiment they'll leave with a writer for long enough if it's doing good numbers, but you have a flagship book. And of course, I think the numbers are doing really well with this book. And I don't see Gail going anywhere, but there's still that lying threat of like, this could go any different direction. So, get the story out while you can. But so yeah, okay. I'm gonna bring up the one thing I had an issue with Gail in this issue is the furry part. I mean, you're gonna know I had to bring it up.
I mean, this is it's a Kurt podcast, and we've never really talked about that, if I'm honest, in like over like what 100 episodes.
I think we've like touched on it here and there. I don't subscribe to Kurt being a furry or even furry adjacent. Like, I feel like again, here's the thing. I'm not a furry and I don't know furries. So, I mean, but like, I always found furry to be like, it's about and again, he is furry. He's got fur, but I always found furries to be like more about anthropomorphic animals than like just the action of having fur.
I mean, well, he does have animal-like qualities. That doesn't help your case.
But he's not. But there's okay. So, for example, like when I think of a furry, right? There's like the guy who dresses as a fox or the girl who dresses as a horse. It's like there's not a specific animal that Kurt is. I guess. I mean, again, if furries out there, you can weigh in and let me know. Whatever. Like maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just don't. And I also don't. Even though he has animalistic qualities, I don't like to. I feel like this would be a sore spot for him because that's the kind of shit that got him thrown in the freak show. You know what I mean? And that's when he was in the freak show very, very briefly. That was what they pushed was like his animalistic qualities. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
too much.
I understand the purpose of the line. I think the purpose of the line was to address something that whether we, you, me, anyone else agrees with it personally or believes that is something that is heavy in the Nightcrawler fandom is, whether he's a furry or not. And if he is, or, if you like him, you're considered a furry for that. What does that mean? Is that okay?
Absolutely
do people
not.
like to do that?
I'm drawing a line right there. You are not, you do not have to be a furry to like Kurt. I'm sorry.
I agree with that. But all I was saying is there's discourse on this, right? And Gail was simply addressing that discourse and addressing it and I'm not saying she should have. I'm not agreeing that she should have, but I think it was clever, and I think it was a little cute, and it did its overall purpose of address the discourse in a way only Kurt could and would when he's in, a really great state of mind, which he is in this moment. He's not struggling with his depression or thinking about his days in the circus or anything. He's helping kids out. He's mentoring. He's doing what he loves to do. So to me, it makes perfect sense that he's being quirky and quippy like that. And for whatever reason, Gail just said, wouldn't it be funny if I could just address this discourse real quick in a way only Kurt would, and then move on from it?
And that's fair. And that's totally fair. I would say, I'm sure they do have great parties. Just don't eat the pizza. And if you
listen, the only thing I'll say is, and I think it'd be cool to do an episode on and have somebody that's actually, in the furry community or what have you on it, or has a more, I guess, positive perspective. Because I don't know about Lisa, but for me, like, furry was a derogatory thing when I was in high school. So I'm 29. So you can do the math, figure out about the years I was in high school. And it was always like, furries are hypersexual, and not even just like, to me, hypersexual isn't a bad thing. People have all different levels of sexuality, to non-existent to, and that's okay. But it was an uncomfortable, creepy level of hypersexual that was associated with furries when I was in high school. And so I was like, don't call me that. I don't care if I like characters like Catra from She Wherever. Please do not call me a furry, because I don't like the associations with it. But like my younger siblings, who again are younger than me, they grew up differently. They're like, furries never had those associations with my age group. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, like, so like, we're not trying to bully you when we say that, but I personally also hate being called a furry, and I think that's why. So I'd be interested to have somebody else on the pod if anybody was interested to tell us a little more about that stuff. Yeah, it was a cute little throw off line, but it sparks a lot of discourse. So
it does, absolutely. So yeah, we're getting more in backstory. We hear about the backstory of Ransom. We get Jitter's backstory. We get Horse Girl's backstory. Calico, that's her name. Calico.
Horse Girl.
And isn't she from your neck of the woods? She's from Carolina. I can't remember which one.
I don't even remember where she's from. So if she's from South Carolina, I don't know her. South Carolina, you suck. Sorry, anybody that lives there, but South Carolina sucks.
Wow. That's like a New York, New Jersey like thing right there.
Yeah, that's a thing here. Like both Carolinas, we hate each other's guts. We also both say neither one can drive. South Carolina really can't drive though. Y'all say that we can't drive. Y'all are worse.
Oh my God. I love it. South Carolina. Her name is Lauren. And DM me, I'll give you her address.
Listen, they are messes. All right. Absolute messes down there.
That's I don't know that I haven't been, but sure, I don't disagree.
You wouldn't like it there, Lisa. I can already tell you that.
Wait, all right. So South Carolina is the New Jersey
literally.
Literally. I'll take it. So we meet, we get her backstory. She like literally just, I don't know, it looks like she burned down the house. I don't know.
I liked, so Jitters, I enjoy her powers that she can do anything for like a minute or something. Yeah. And I'm like, that's totally like ADHD coded, which I think Gail actually addressed on Twitter at one point when somebody brought it up. And I kind of love that, but I'm also like, poor Jitters. Jitters like is filled with anxiety, which, is pretty, at bare minimum, there's a huge correlation with ADHD and anxiety.
Oh, 100%. And like, I mean, it's so funny. There was a video that was like posted on Reddit recently, and it was like a guy saying like my day with ADHD, and it was like a jokey video, but basically like it started with him like getting up and like he goes to put on his socks, and he notices as he's putting his socks on that he like there's a piece of garbage on the floor. So he puts the socks down, picks up the garbage, goes to throw the garbage out, notices the garbage is full. So he takes out the garbage, puts it outside. As he's going to put it outside, he notices something else. And it's like literally he starts like 5 or 6 different chores, and none of them get finished. And it all comes back to him with the socks again. And it was like, oh my God, that is literally my day. So I totally get it. And I get it with Jitter too. Like the idea of being like your superpowers, you can do something great, but only for a minute. I mean, that is literally ADHD. It's like, yes, I totally agree. So
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. And then we find out about Ghost Boy and his backstory. I mean, we won't go into all the details about it, but basically lots of dead babies in these backstories, lots of dead babies without heartbeats.
I was going to say like Ransom. I think it was Ransom that like, I was just like, fuck, like Ransom's hit me the hardest because it just seemed the most like that's the thing. each one of these characters, their stories are devastating in different ways. But Ransom, I was like, dear God, that level of devastation over and over, because he's like, yep, I died multiple times in one night. And then even at one point where like, hey, he was kidnapped and his parents wouldn't even pay the ransom to get him back. Like, that's fucked on every level. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, they definitely, it's kind of funny. Like, they're definitely setting up, Ransom and Calico come from money. And I want to say Jitter probably comes from some kind of money because Singapore. But no, Ransom and Calico definitely come from money, and there's interesting stories to be told there. But so our little ghost boy, he gets the best of our furry friend, and thankfully Rogue stops him, and they manage to save, and Calico is the one who gets the belt, which honestly, that's sometimes how you win. Sometimes how you win is by sneaking up on the side, not by actually fighting. So, but we finally come back to our boy Logan, who ends up in the clutches of our dear witch friend, Sarah Gaunt or whatever her name is, which that's a pretty good name for her character, Gaunt. That's what she looks like, and Rogue knows, oh fuck, Logan's in trouble. We need to send somebody. So
I love that touch. I love, I like how Gail's bringing back more emphasis on Rogue and Logan's friendship. I love that. I
think that we're gonna get into number 4 now, but I think that like the one thing too is like she's really leaning very heavily on the family of it all, and it's not just about your actual, like, it's not just about biological family. It's also about found family and all that, even little things like in the fourth, the fourth issue we're just about to get into, like, Marcus, obviously Remy has a very close relationship with the family that they're staying with, his daughter calls him Uncle Remy, right? So it's like, there's a lot of this here. So moving on to the fourth issue, we've got Charles and Sarah are out for a picnic, or they're having a walk, and she's just like, they're kissing, and she's just one of those girls. And then she's just like, oh, by the way, girl, I'm pregnant. Hey, 2 blue lines, baby girl.
Yeah. She's like, this is the greatest thing ever. And Charles, Charles is just like, what the fuck? Like, it's not possible, like, blah, blah, blah. And she is not happy with that response, which, to be fair, I think regardless of time or other factors, that's still like a fairly harsh reaction. So I get why she was just like, not loving this, man, like, because it's here whether you like it or not. So what the fuck?
Yeah, I guess for me though, like, here's my only issue with her with the situation, and this is, I hate to come to the defense of Charles Xavier in any case, so please. But like, I feel like if you've been in a relationship with someone long enough that you've become pregnant by them and you're sure of it, like, you should be somewhat aware of their feeling on it to find a way to announce it that isn't going, like, I don't know. I feel like the way she announces it in a way that makes it seem like this is something they've been planning, or they wanted, or they've discussed. But then his reaction tells me that, like, he's just like, what? No, this has literally never been in my plan at all.
She's definitely in her own world and a little bit of whatever one would consider crazy. But I can also, to be fair, I can also see Charles like in like different moments, because again, at the start of this issue, we've got letters from him, so with narration talking about how like he just is basically so in love with her, he's so enamored, and just blah blah blah. And so like to go from that, and then the second a child between them is implied, and his instant reaction is, what the fuck, that's not possible. To me, those are completely separate, and they shouldn't be. Like, I can still understand that regardless of how you feel about a person, you can still be in shock of that, right? Like, I get that. Yeah. But I'm like, this is still so distant from what you're just saying. It's a very Charles thing to be like, I'm so in love with you. I'm so in love with you. And then the second something that he's not prepared for, or he doesn't like, or what have you, comes up, he's like, suddenly everything I said is a lie. Suddenly I don't like you. Suddenly I don't feel strongly about you. And it's kind of just like, Xavier, you're still a menace, but she's also crazy. So
yeah, she like they're definitely,
which is why they worked.
yeah, exactly. But I like how she's just like, I want what they have, and she just points at the stroller and the people. I feel like this is something that's come up in X-Men comics, and X-Men a lot, specifically actually X-Men media. Like, for example, I think this was a big theme in X-Men 97, the idea of, can we have that as mutants? You know, like specifically, especially as X-Men, you know, they make a decision, they make a choice to fight for mutant kind and humanity, all this stuff. And that was a big thing in X-Men 97, right? Remember, before we knew Maddie was Maddie, but she was Jean, she was talking about her and Scott leaving with the baby and like having their own life and like, you know, saying like, you know, it's our time has come to move on. We can pass on this mantle to the other X-Men and we can have our family. And of course, in that conversation, who was the one who was like, no, it was Scott, because Scott is Xavier's little whatever. Yeah. But, you know, so that whole moment's ruined. Thanks, Xavier. It's not the first or the last time he's going to ruin a fucking moment. That's for sure. So then we go back to Rogue and Kurt are on their way to find Logan, and they're playing the whole like, are we there yet? And she's like, if you say that one more fucking time, if you ask me one more fucking question, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And so that's how you know they're siblings. And finally they get there, they find Logan, and he's just a huddled, bloody mess of a...
Which, that's just like another Tuesday for him. Like, I get Rogue's worried, but I'm also like, if he's not dead, he's fine. Like,
I want them to show up one day and like, it's just like it's like a puddle of like different parts, and just out of his vocal cords, he's like, oh, okay, I'll be okay, give me a minute.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, this is a different level even for you.
Exactly. So yeah, so you know, he's like, I'm okay, I'm good, and so she's like, all right, we're gonna get you the fuck out of here. And you know, Kurt's trying to talk her out of it, and she's like, no, you take him home, I'll fucking take care of this bitch, don't you worry about that. I don't know why like there seems to be, I feel like there seems to be like Rogue has some kind of or feels some kind of personal connection to this woman because of the way she's like, I'm going to handle this, I'll take care of it. It's like, okay, you don't even know who this is, you don't know what she did, she literally just destroyed Logan. I'm not saying Rogue's not strong, I'm just saying like, why, like, I'm wondering if there's something in the story that we're going to get that gives us some kind of insight into why Rogue's like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this on my own, rather than like regrouping with the X-Men and being like, hey, how are we going to do this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's multiple layers that we've already seen or that have been hinted at. I think part of it is because she's like, well, good thing you made me leader, Logan, because guess what? That means your ass is going back, whether you try to tell me what to do or not. I'm the leader right now. Get your ass back. And so I think it speaks to, we're seeing, you know, if I think we haven't seen it for a long time, like Rogue's true leadership style. And we're going to start to see that now. And she is very stubborn, and she's also very much like, this is my curse to bear. That's how her and Logan are like as well. They both are like, this is my curse to bear. No, you don't have to do it alone. Yes, I do. No, like they take turns doing that. And being on the opposite ends of it. And also one thing that interested me in the fight, because a lot of this issues, her and Sarah fighting, which I thought was really interesting. It worked really well. It was also a very fascinating choice to me, writing wise. But there's a point where I'm like, I need explanation for this line, because I was like, what the fuck? Because at one point they're just like, you know, talking about how she can sense Rogue and she's trying to taunt her, and she says something about Rogue being childless and how bad that was. And so that connects to earlier. So Sarah valued having children a lot. That's like that's been made. Rogue has said back in the Krakoa era that she has no interest in children, and Gambit said he was cool with that, and that was really great. So there's something there they're going to play with, and I think Gail's going to get to some point, I don't know what it is, but I think she'll get to some point where she basically draws, you know, a connection between the two. It's like, yeah, you know, we can both feel similarly, even though we're on opposite ends of this one issue. Here's where our feelings about that are coming from. I think we're going to get to that.
Yeah, all I saw when I saw that, I was like, okay, JD Vance, fucking calm down.
I was like, bitch, step off.
And I could see Rogue, like if this was our universe, Rogue would definitely do the Taylor Swift part where she would like take a picture of herself with her cat and be like, yeah, I am a childless cat lady, bitch. Yeah. And I hate you. So yeah, you know, what's funny is like, it's interesting because I didn't read all of that where Rogue and Gambit have the official conversation about not having kids, but we do know in other universes and in other places they do have kids. And I want to say that like part of her decision and I could be wrong if I'm remembering this wrong. I want to say part of her decision is, a part of her decision has to do less with the idea of having kids. It's not like she's anti having kids or doesn't want kids. It's more about like, I think she's afraid of what her body or how her body would even do that, because it's like, she's got control over her powers now. But let me tell you, as a woman who has gone through hormonal things, hormones will fuck you up. Oh my God, will hormones fuck you up? And so we'll add hormones into that. Plus, it's like, I mean, we know her skin is deadly. Is the inside deadly? I mean, have they touched the inside? Has anyone tried to touch the inside of her mouth? And see, it's just so many questions. And I could see that being a large part of it. And, so the thing is like, I know that they made a conscious choice, right? But I also think their conscious choice they made also is part and parcel to like her feeling almost like she can't have them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and that might happen in the past because I haven't read that stuff in the past with them. So, but in the current continuity, because I've read the conversation, it was just she just, there were things they discussed around it, but she's just like, and in the end, I don't want children. Is that something you can be okay with? And Gambit's like, yeah, I have my cats. Like, and I think that was important because there really aren't conversations where, at least that I hear or see outside of like, close family or friends that might talk to me about this stuff in confidence, but nobody really publicly or even on shows or anything talks about like, hey, they just don't want kids. And it's not just because I'm afraid of having kids. Like, I'll tell you for me personally, like I've come to terms with the fact that if it is realistic and all that, I would like to have kids one day. I won't give birth though, because I fear what pregnancy will do to my body in real life, because like that shit like ruins your body for life. It straight up does. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how people say how pretty pregnancy and giving birth is. It literally fucks your body up. And so my body's already such a mess. I can't fathom that. And I've never had an interest getting pregnant. It's just not been for me. And so for a while I was like, well, if I can't do that, then, adoption or surrogacy, but blah, blah, blah. And I was afraid to do all that. And eventually I've come to terms with, what, I would like kids if the opportunity makes sense one day. And I have to go about another way of doing it. But, saying that people just don't want kids because they're afraid, like, that is a true thing. And it's a true story for so many, including myself. And there are also people that they just don't want children for whatever other reasons,
Absolutely. So we get some of Sarah's backstory here as we're going through it. And we find out that she had a baby, she had a kid. Again, putting all the ties together, that's probably Xavier's kid, but we don't know 100% yet, right? So she had the kid, and they were in a hurricane. It says, I'm assuming this is supposed to be Katrina, I feel like, because we're in Louisiana. And she says 18 years ago, when was Katrina? Like 2005? I don't know. 2004? I can't remember. 2006 maybe? I don't remember exactly. But yeah, she says, and she loses her son in the hurricane, and then she just gives up. And when she comes out of the water after 3 days of being in the water, she comes out as this monster. And it's like, Rogue's like, you're probably a mutant, girl. And she's like, don't you fucking call me that.
Yeah, she's like, fuck that shit. Well, and the sad thing is, here's the thing. You know how Xavier's whole dream, is to have everybody love and accept mutants, to have mutants and humans to coexist. But he fucked this woman up so much that now she associates mutants with him. And so because she hates him so much, that means she has to hate mutants, so that mutants are also terrible. Like, he ruined mutants. He ruined mutants because of his shit.
This is not the first woman he's like, fucking look at Moira.
No, facts.
Moira. And then like Gabrielle Haller, I don't think had much of an issue, but look at her fucking kid. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, girls. I mean, yeah. So basically at this point they're, they've realized that they're actually this whole thing with Rogue is the diversion, and they're sending an army to come to get the kids. Right. So they're like, okay, well, everybody get in the basement, and us X-Men, we're going to do it. And I want to point out one thing. I find Gail to be really good at writing the voices of these characters. I think she's still finding Kurt's voice exactly, but for like Jubilee is perfect. Gambit is perfect. Rogue is perfect. Like, when Jubilee had like one or two lines this entire issue, and for some reason my inner head was the voice from X-Men 97, like clear as day. So that's why I'm saying like she is even Rogue. Like I definitely hear her voice. I wouldn't say it's the X-Men animated voice, but it's like I hear her voice in my head. I hear Gambit's voice, you know. So it's interesting, and we find out that Sarah's powers is not like kidnapping. She somehow turns other mutants into these weird, gross monsters that we see. And they're about to fight, and the kids come out and they're like, okay, well, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna hide in the basement while you guys fight for us, so let's do this. Let's all do it together. And then Logan, God bless him, he rallies and he shows up. He can't fucking see because his eyes are fucking gouged out, and he's like, just point the sharp part of me at the soft part of them, and I'll just go.
Yeah, that's Logan. It doesn't matter. Again, as long as he is not dead, he is going to get up, and he is ready to fight something or someone, whatever it takes.
Exactly. And we have I think the conclusion of this story is going to be happening in the next issue, either the next issue or the issue after. And we have on the cover of that one, we've got Gambit with his cats, and his cats are ready to fucking fight. His cats are like, fuck.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, don't fuck me up. Like, they're like, do you understand that our fucking cat tree is under this rubble now? Now what do we do? So
yeah, fucking facts.
Exactly. But yeah, solid. I'm enjoying this so far. I really like the themes of family that she's playing with, and just the ideas of who can make up a family, but also the issues that go in it, and not everything goes as expected, and yeah, it's very, I'm enjoying it. It's good.
Yeah, me too. I really love the fourth issue, especially. I love the focus on Rogue. I think Gail's nailing Rogue's voice.
Yeah, 100%.
She's absolutely killing it. And for me personally, it's been a long time since I really felt like I've heard Rogue's voice. I think, notwithstanding X-Men 97, I think X-Men 97 really started to get it a bit as well. But this is just because I love the moment too, where she's fighting Sarah and she's just like, oh, well, I still have this power left over, and I still have some Captain Marvel in me, but don't mention it. And it's all in this one hand. And I was just like, yeah. And that was what was interesting to me too, was that, Sarah beat the shit out of Logan, but Rogue also still held her own. And so basically Gail to me is indirectly saying and showing that she's reminding people how powerful Rogue is. Not just like, yeah, she's super strong and can fly and blah, blah, blah. She is so powerful that she can hold her own against somebody that tore the fuck up out of Logan. That's insanity.
Well, here's what I wonder. Now, this is, don't get mad at me, men out there. I wonder if Rogue's strength comes from being a woman.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely could.
But like specifically in this scenario, because in this specific scenario, like she's fighting against a woman, a mother who's lost her child, and it seems like all of this evil, all of this is coming from that place, right? And there are certain things that as women, we can connect with on a different level just because of that kind of situation. So honestly, like if Sarah, like they need to start. Here's what what Marvel needs to do. They need to start a fucking support group for mothers of lost children, because literally they keep showing up and trying to kill all the mutants. And it's, guys, like, how about we make a support group for them? How about we make a little nice group? You lost your fucking child because of some stupid fucking mutant or otherworldly or fucking demonic or whatever. Here's a group, and Wanda's gonna run it.
Yeah, but see, that would mean Marvel has to help women, so I don't know.
Don't get me started. All right, well, this is a good place to end the episode.
Marvel's gonna silence me immediately. I have a laser in my head, guys, so I need a dip.
That's it. She's running off the stage like Nick Jonas. Did you see that the other day?
Yeah, no, literally. I was just listen. I used to be a big Jonas Brothers fan because I was one of those middle school girls, right? Now I'm like, all right, they're all nostalgia and their new stuff doesn't have substance, which is sad on their part, but whatever. But yeah, I saw that clip and I was just like, Yeah, the second that laser hit him, he was literally running down, like with his hands going to the sides, like, nope, nope, nope. He was like, fuck out of here.
I think actually that what he was doing with his hands, he was actually signaling the security. I think there was probably like the security probably gives him a signal or something, gives him a signal to let them know, like, I'm running off the stage for, like, there's a reason I'm running.
Yeah,
and
he's not just like, I'm gonna run off the stage because I'm crazy. He's like, this is why, guys.
Yeah, I would have fucking run too. Oh my God. Like, people are crazy. People are fucking crazy. I would have run. I'm like, you got a laser pointer on my head?
Absolutely. Like, that shit should absolutely, like, because people are terrible, that shit has to be banned from concerts and stuff. Security, y'all need to do better, because how the fuck did that get in?
Exactly. And he doesn't know it's not a fucking gun. He doesn't know there's not a fucking rifle at the end of that laser.
No, and you should absolutely assume the worst, because if it is the worst, you're dead. So.
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks all everybody for joining us for another fabulous episode of Simply Amazing. Lauren girl, where can they find you?
I am on Twitter. I guess I'll say Blue Sky as well. I'm starting to see people run away to there again. So I was like, fine, I'll download the app again, because Twitter is getting worse and worse as usual. But yeah, at Friendly MBHDBI, I'm on all the social medias there. So come find me, whatever media you feel safer using, because none of it's safe, but you know.
No, it's all terrible. I mean, I feel like we should just all turn off the internet completely and just go back to like living in caves, because honestly.
Yeah, but then Lisa, I would never see you or talk to you. I can't have that.
We'll write you letters. We'll write letters like the olden days.
You know what? I do have to say, doing stuff like that, it warms the heart far more than anything else. Like, if I get a handwritten letter, like, I have a friend I've known since high school. Every once in a while, she sends me a postcard for like the holidays or something. And it's just the sweetest thing out of nowhere. I love that shit.
It is so nice. It's wonderful. Well, you can find us at simplyamazingpod.com. All our socials are there. We're on Twitter mostly, but like, again, we've been falling off of all that because the world is crazy. But hopefully the world starts to level out soon enough. Otherwise, I mean, just start stockpiling guns and rationing your food is all I can say. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, listen, that's the most American suggestion ever. Get guns and get food.
Listen, like the two pastimes of America, guns and food, like, right? So.
Like, I'm laughing because I'm miserable thinking about how that's just so true. It's just like, get the guns and food. That's what we're taught to do here. Fuck off.
Exactly. Well, thanks guys. Come and find us on all of our socials. Let us know you love us or hate us. Furries, sound off. Tell us all about it. Also, South Carolinians, sound off. We want to hear from you too.
South Carolinians, fuck off. Furries, call us. We'd love to have you on to talk with us. I would love my high school trauma to heal. So please let us know.
Wow. Okay. So South Carolinians, I'm going to offer a safe space for you with the nocturne side of things. So, yeah. Yeah. So if you're out there listening and you are thinking to yourself, I'm childless, what's the problem? No fucking problem. You're simply amazing.